So how do you tell people that you have cancer? Hey YouTube, and welcome back to another video. And first I want to start with a huge thanks to everybody who has reached out to me, sent me messages, and contacted me and sent their messages of support. It really means the world to me. I can't even begin to go through everybody's names here, but you all know who you are, and I truly appreciate every single message that I've received. Now onto the video. One of the hardest parts of this entire journey has definitely been telling people. Now, I told most people in the first couple of days after I got my diagnosis. I don't know what it was that made it really difficult. For me, I didn't really want to tell people because I didn't want to worry people. I was worried about how much people might be worrying about me if I told them, which seems kind of silly. And honestly, when I got the news, I was prepared from quite a few weeks back to expect something like this because the doctors were so unsure. They kept saying it was weird. So I was relatively okay with the news when I got it. But telling people I found was so hard. My first phone call when I came out of the hospital was to my sister. She's in Korea. And even as the phone was ringing, I remember tearing up and I couldn't get any words out for the first 30 seconds or a minute. I'm not even entirely sure what the issue was, but actually getting the words out and telling people is really difficult. At least I found it really difficult. Even now, when I talk to people and I'm like, oh yes, I've got cancer, or you know how I've got cancer, blah, blah, blah. The word cancer just still seems so foreign to me. And when I say it, it's like, it's not very personal. It's as if I'm talking about it like I'd learnt about it in a lecture, or I'm talking about it as if I just heard that somebody had cancer. It still just doesn't feel very real. So I'm not sure what makes it so difficult to say. I'm not sure whether it's because it feels like I'm inflicting some pain on the people that are listening to it or have to hear the news, or whether it's because maybe it makes it seem that much more real every time you say it and tell people. So one thing to remember is that the people you tell and the people around you who find out the news also need some love and support and some comforting. So they will also need a cushion to the blow. I remember my first few attempts were absolutely terrible. I'll take you through a couple of these. So one of my first ones was to a group chat of friends that I have. I haven't talked to them in a while, as you can see on the timestamps, but this is what I managed to muster. And I didn't want to drag it on, and I didn't want to wait for replies and everything, so I kind of all said it in one go. It's a bit blunt. I remember they reacted and they were like, what is this? And then I have the snake pit, which is a group of friends of mine, and they're all snakes. It's just 3 of us on the chat, but basically they've known that I've been going to the hospital and they knew that I was getting my results soon. Literally all I put was this. We'd been planning a trip to Frankfurt and I sent the money over the day before. So then I just wanted to find some sort of natural flow into the conversation, which it didn't really work. Oh gosh, this next one's probably the worst. Some of my friends will know that I have a very dark sense of humour, sometimes. And this was probably... I didn't want to let this opportunity pass. It's not every day that you can do this sort of thing. So a friend of mine sent me a message on Facebook. I was meeting other friends at the time, so I opened it and then closed it. He outed me on a group chat and said, oh, so how have you been doing? And I wanted to punish him for it. Another friend in the chat actually thought I was joking with the I have cancer thing, because apparently I can be that dark. Now, one of the first people I told in person was a friend of mine. She works downstairs from where I work, and she comes up every so often during lunchtime, just to chat, play games. On our way out, I did a terrible job of telling her. It basically went like this. We're about to go down the stairs and I said, oh, I need to talk to you about something. Okay. Again, she's somebody who knows that I've been in and out of the hospital recently. And I told in literally these words. I said, so I got my hospital results back yesterday, and basically I have cancer. You know, I think back on it and I'm laughing because I think that was hilarious, as in hilariously terrible. This sort of news is also big to the people that receive it. I really should have sort of built her up for it rather than just throw it in there and just force her to deal with it. So I'm really sorry. You know who you are. So it's not easy trying to get the right balance of how you say these things. But here is what I finally got the formula down to, which I think is a decent way of explaining to people how you have cancer. So you need an intro, and then you set the mood, and then you start specific, and then bring it down into more layman's terms. For example, so as you know, I've been in and out of the hospital recently, and last week, inside time here, I received my final diagnosis and my results. So I have something which is called Hodgkin's lymphoma, and this is a type of cancer. At this point, you have to see how they react. If you need to, you can make them feel better and say stuff like statistics. Oh, for Hodgkin's lymphoma, complete remission rates tend to be between 80 to 90%. I'll be on 6 months of chemo and no radiotherapy, so it's all looking quite good. The doctors are feeling quite optimistic about it. But yeah, so when you do decide to tell people, try to wrap it in something pretty and not just throw them down the stairs like I did. So why should you tell people? Telling people is really difficult, and at first I really didn't want to do it. But when I finally opened up, it was amazing, and I don't regret it. All the love and support that I was receiving through all these messages and people reaching out to me was just, it blew my mind. And even to this day, like a week on, I'm still receiving messages from people, and I'm still receiving love and support and prayers, and every time somebody does reach out to me, it continues to touch me and give me strength to fight each and every day with a huge smile on my face. I mean, people that I haven't spoken to in years have been contacting me, calling me. Friends that I haven't met in months have actually come to my house to say hi and just give me some company. It's moments like this when you are reminded that people are constantly thinking about you, even if you haven't talked in a while, and even if you haven't kept in touch, there is already thinking about you, and always somebody willing to support you, and somebody out there who loves you, as cheesy as that sounds. But I mean, one friend was just telling me how just recently saw somebody who reminded them of me, and they're wondering how I was doing. And you just never think that you just pop up in somebody's mind randomly like that. So best of luck to all of you who will have to go through this someday, or are going through this. And congratulations to anybody who has already done this. I salute your strength. And one last note, for those of you who are on the receiving end of the news, just know that even the smallest words of support, no matter how generic they may seem, like, if you need anything, let me know, or best of luck, anything like that, every single one of these messages makes a huge world of difference to the person receiving it. So regardless of how useless you think your message might be, or you can't think of anything unique or special to say, don't worry. Any words of support are really, truly helpful and are appreciated. Hopefully that was an eye-opener and helpful to some of you. Leave a like if you like, leave a dislike if you disliked, leave a comment if you have any feedback or questions, anything at all, and subscribe if you haven't. Let's go, challengers. Whoop whoop.